Hey there everyone, it's me Laura with Bold Notion Quilting. I wanted to pop in. If you might have noticed, it has been a while since I have done anything with any real consistency here on my YouTube channel. You may not know, but I do have a Facebook and an Instagram, both at Bold Notion Quilting, where I kind of keep track of my day-to-day in the shop, look at the pretty things I've quilted. It's not so much tutorials, how-tos, and how to manage your quilts like my YouTube channel is, but it does kind of cover a broad spectrum of my life and things like that. I wanted to share with you just some things that I've been going through physically and mentally so that you guys kind of understand why there hasn't been much of anything on here as of recently. I want to give you the shortest version possible, but over the course of the last 4 years since we moved, we're a military family, to the Central Florida area on the West Coast, so closer to the Gulf, I get something called vertigo as a result, or we think as a result of Meniere's disease. And it can, typically in the past, it has been like it onsets spontaneously. It happens whenever it feels like it for whatever reason. And it happens for, anywhere from 5 to 9 hours, room spinning, life altering perception of reality, and then it spontaneously goes away on its own. There's all kinds of other symptoms in there that make you feel like garbage while it's happening, but I won't bore you with those details. Since we've moved to this area, the vertigo comes more frequently. It lasts for months. When it used to come, it would come once every couple of years randomly. Now I'm lucky if I can go a week or a month in between having it for weeks or months at a time. And it's progressively gotten worse over the 4 years that we've lived here. I've been seeing a lot of different doctors. I'm on my 4th or 5th ENT. Maybe 6th ENT. I'm on my 4th or 5th neurologist. I've seen holistic medicine doctors. I've seen chiropractors that specialize in, the upper cervical spine. I've talked to dentists, orthodontists, all kinds of, any doctor I could get my hands on, just trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Blood tests, CT scans, MRIs, everything comes back unremarkable, which means that it's clear. There's nothing there. And I am okay with that. I don't want to find out that I have some kind of crazy brain tumor that I have to deal with. But it doesn't change the fact that my vertigo has been progressively getting very serious, very worse, and debilitating. And something is wrong with my vestibular system. At a certain point, you have to decide on, if this quality of life is worth living, and decide what actions you want to take to figure that out, which can mean cutting that nerve, which will change the way your body perceives and has to adapt to functioning with different balance, not having access to the right side. They can drill into your cochlear system and make sure that it can't make anything funny happen. There's a lot of really invasive, all that stuff is deep in the bone in your skull, surgeries that you can do. They also gave me an option for something called a corticosteroid injection through the tympanic membrane, which is your eardrum. And because I was so busy, I had vertigo from March to June. So through the Florida shop hop, everything else, just almost constant vertigo to June. I had a little bit of reprieve in July and August for about a month and a half. And I was leaving early September to go to Colorado and start a month of teaching. It was just insane. And so I, as a Hail Mary, went to get one of those injections to see if it could help with the vertigo. And what those injections do is it calms everything down so that while you're in what they call a storm of vertigo, which can last for a long period of time, it tries to break up that storm, like a hurricane and wind shear, right? It tries to break up the storm so that way you don't have the debilitating vertigo. It may not help with the lighter vertigo, which kind of makes you feel when you walk like you're floating, or you can have what's called tracking, where like I'm looking at something and that thing just takes longer to get to where it's going. And so the first injection was amazing. The vertigo episodes I had been having for the week prior, they stopped, and I felt pretty normal. I still got a little bit of light vertigo, but I was able to teach my classes and do what I needed to do. For those of you who were on my email list the week after when I went to the AQS show in Lancaster to teach, anime, cartoons, and everything, horrible vertigo for the entire week that I was teaching. I was lucky I was able to get through the classes I got through. And so I just thought, man, when I get back, that first injection worked for a week. I wonder if there's like a series of injections that can make this stop. So I went back to the doctor and I asked him, like, can I get a series of the injections? Is that an option? Because they wanted me to take antivirals, go on a low salt diet with a diuretic, which I've done those things before for a period of a year, and it still didn't help with my vertigo. So I knew that wasn't going to help me. So I opted for the 3 injections. It was 1 injection every 3 days for a series of 3, so through 9 days. Over that time, it's very interesting. I had 3 different doctors give me 1 injection each, and they all kind of put it in a slightly different place, which was a little bit weird to me. And it seemed to help. The room-altering vertigo, gone. But now I had a week after the injections where I had the sensation of the room-altering vertigo with the nauseousness. My body's, hot. I feel the perception of my body moving in the space, even though my eyes are not seeing the movement this time. So it stopped my eyeballs from getting the bad signal of the room turning, but I couldn't sit up and look at a computer screen, couldn't answer emails, couldn't quilt anything. I basically lived on my floor of my bathroom, cold floor, just trying to breathe through it, take naps, sleep it off, see if it would go away. For my particular kind of vertigo, I actually can take Xanax to help stop the episodes, typically, because mine's all central nervous system based. So that is something that can help me. Doesn't help much or most of anyone else, but it has been something that's helped me, even in trying to take my medicine and take a nap so that I can sleep it off and function for a few hours. That no longer was working. And I have just become increasingly more desperate to find answers to what the hell is going on with my body, because it's not what the doctors are telling me it is. I'm sorry, but they tell me that Meniere's can change. I probably also have vestibular migraine. Both Meniere's and vestibular migraine are rule-out diagnoses. That means that, you can't test for them, but if you have a series of symptoms, then you fit into this bubble. And the Venn diagram of Meniere's and vestibular migraine overlap by like 50%. So if you have one, you most likely have the other. And I'm not okay with the most likely if, ands, or whatevers. There's got to be something. There has been a huge shift in the way that my body is working, and something needs to be different. They'll also comment about it maybe being hormones, this, that, or the other thing. It is not that. I've had all of those things checked by different doctors, and I am well within my normal levels of everything. Nothing is changing. I'm not in menopause. It's not a thing. So after this last week of just wondering if this is the life that I'm now going to live, because it's gotten progressively worse and my time spans of good days are getting lesser and lesser, I decided to Hail Mary go see a physician who specializes in TMJ and upper cervical spine. And I have been asking all of my doctors, could this be TMJ? I clench. All of this is really tight. I wake up with headaches. I don't feel like I've slept. I'll notice, again, my neck position, if I change it or if I do like a big stretch and pull or push pressure, that I can get a little bit of a sense of the vertigo movement, but then it goes away. I don't have positional vertigo, so the way that I move should not affect anything. And they brush it off like, no, that's not possible. So since I've been on my floor for the last week, I called. They were able to get me in and that night, and he's like, are you sure he's like, what's going on? I explained everything. He did a series of tests. Now, they typically tell you to go to an orthodontist or a dentist to test for TMJ. I think that there's got to be some kind of special doctor out there somewhere. I could probably also go to a pain doctor. I tried to get into a TMJ specialist, actual physician somewhere in Florida, but that was like pulling teeth just trying to get an appointment, especially when my doctors won't give me authorizations or referrals for that kind of doctor because they don't believe that I have a TMJ issue. So I went to go see this guy. He starts doing a series of tests with an orthodontist or a dentist. They will put their hands right here on your joint, ask you to open and close, right? And if they don't hear clicking, if they don't feel too much movement, you don't have TMJ, okay? And I have asked 2 dentists and 3 orthodontists to examine me for this, and they all did the same thing, and it's ridiculous. So I went to this chiropractic guy. He's in Newport Richey, Florida, because I'm on the West Coast, in case you ask. And he did a series of tests where he's checking the alignment of my jaw, open and closing. He's listening to what my jaw's doing with a stethoscope, and he's pushing on all of these different places on the side of my face that made me want to vomit. He was feeling like little rocks or crystals or whatever. He called them adhesions. These adhesions, he said, are like a pea size deep in my jaw and in my temporomandibular joint that are basically like constantly contracted, and mine are actually also twisted and contorted because I've started getting facial numbness, tingling sensations. I mean, it's terrifying me, all of the way that my symptoms have been changing, that I thought I had MS and all of my scans and everything are clear. So apparently that's not an issue, thank God. But I mean, just all the things that have been changing. And he really validated that, yes, you have a physical problem. And apparently with the TMJ joint, where it sits is right under the ear canal. And I asked him, I was like, can having problems with TMJ give you vertigo? And he said, yes, it takes about half a teardrop worth of liquid, more or less, to get in that TMJ joint to affect your vestibular system. And because you already have a vestibular system that is fried and doesn't read things properly, it probably takes even less for someone like you to have a vertigo episode. So, I mean, by the time I went to go see him, I couldn't drive. I made my teenage son take me. He was like, do you want me to work on some of that tonight? And he took, old school tools, wooden blocks, things to my head. I could feel all of the hard crystal tight places. He took his hands, his jaws, and he like spun and just pressed and compressed and had me like open my jaw up forward and back while he pushed and tried to pull everything out. And he had to use special guns to like hammer this in place. By the time I was done, my whole body was like hot and sweaty. And it was incredibly painful the whole time that he was doing it. But by the end of the night, I could function. I could make myself dinner. And for 2 days, I've been able to be up and talking and doing different things. And it has been insane to me that I have been bringing this up for 4 years with my doctors about it potentially being TMJ. And when I talk in the videos, many of you make comments about how my jaw swings side to side as I speak. It's asymmetrical. And my doctors have just completely dismissed it. Many different doctors that I have gone to see. And one day with this guy took me from being on the floor questioning if this was going to be the rest of my life to, oh my God, I feel great. Let's go on a vacation. And that was only one visit. I still have a series of visits that we're going to do to get everything back in place and make sure that everything's working properly. But for those of you who suffer with vertigo, if you think that it is a physical problem and something is wrong, you need to be your best advocate, and you need to continue to push and find and ask the questions to find these doctors, physicians, chiropractors, even alternative medicine doctors that can help you figure out what's wrong, because you should not have to live with chronic debilitating things if there is something that can be done to fix it. It is called the practice of medicine for a reason. They are still figuring all of things out. The vestibular system is a labyrinth, but I'm sorry for me to question TMJ, and with that joint being located right under the vestibular system, that should have been an instant, let's check that out. Let's get you to a doctor. Let's see if that's a possibility. And these last 4 years might have been a lot different for me. So I just wanted to share that with you in case anybody else is going through this. You can have more than one problem affecting your vestibular system. I have no doubt that my Meniere's has the vertigo, but there's a series of steps that happens before I have a vertigo episode for Meniere's. It has a life cycle, and it doesn't happen all the time, and I know it's not that. As far as vestibular migraine goes, I think I was having vestibular migraines because of all of the tension that was building in my head. It was creating migraines that would end up in migrainous dizziness, which would affect my vestibular system and give me the dizzy vertigo. So what I'll be watching for as I'm having these TMJ appointments and having things shift, maneuvered, and massaged out of place, hammered out of place, if I continue to have the migrainous dizziness, or if that's just a result of the misalignment of my jaw. And he said the misalignment of my jaw is probably just millimeters. I barely have a misalignment, but I definitely have adhesions deep in my jaw tissues and in my TMJ joint. So I'm excited to go back and see him. It's not a conventional doctor that you would go see. There is a physician on staff, but he is a chiropractor that specializes in TMJ, and I am so thankful to Annie. She works in the shop with me. Her mom suggested him. Her daughter went to him for TMJ, and she said he worked miracles. And it was crazy because he was pushing on points, and when he would push and press and twist, I could feel where I feel my migraines. I could feel where I'd feel pain in my neck. And I mean, I got to the point where like my shoulders would like come up into my head and be so stiff before I would get a vertigo episode. I really thought that I was going to have something more serious wrong with me. So I will keep you all posted on, you know, how this goes. And YouTube is the one place that I just really haven't shared any of this with. So it'll be an easy way for me to share this video in my email chain too, for those of you who are keeping up with my emails. But thank you guys for being here. I'm hopeful that this continues to do well because I have made plans to do quilt-alongs. I've had special panels printed, and I'm excited to get back to stitching and creating and not living on the floor of my bathroom. So thank you guys for being here, for those of you who shop on boldnotionquilting.com and help keep the store going, even when I can't. Take care and happy quilting, y'all. Bye.